Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Salvatore Bruno. Join me in discovering the mindset into fitness, nutrition and wellness, where I'll be answering your questions, interviewing the top names and leaders in the game, and of course, I'll be getting their stories on how they get motivated to become the best. You'll find it right here on Bruno Talks. Okay, so today I wanted to speak about goals and essentially how people move forward into starting them, carrying on with them and essentially finishing them. And for me, I always break it down into small steps. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I will continue to say this over and over again, and it's something that I use in my day-to-day life, and I have done for a while, and I find that it seems to work really, really well. So I thought it'd only be right to share this information with you. Essentially what I do is I make my goals up and I break them down into small steps. This allows me to not have too much pressure on the overall goal, but it also allows me to mentally think that my next step is only a small one, which makes it not so hard. Now, I was one of these people that years ago would have a goal in mind. I would then leap into it, literally jump into it, not knowing much, not having the opportunity to learn from it, and either failing terribly or just giving up and just finding myself not completing what I wanted to, or not achieving what I want to achieve. So then I had to learn from this and take it back. And, this wasn't me trying to reinvent a wheel. This was just me just taking it a lot slower. And by me taking it slower in smaller steps, one, I appreciated what I was learning along the way, but also I was in so much more control over what I was doing at what period of time. So, for example, we always talk about short-term goals, long-term goals. But this is even smaller than a short-term goal. These are the minute steps that you have to take. And I always use it, for example, when I have a new client, for the simple reason being is the hardest step will always be the first step. Now, people don't think of that. They are automatically thinking about the overall goal. It depending on what goal it is, sometimes it's an immense pressure. If you're competing, or if you're going to do a marathon, or you're doing a weightlifting, whatever it may be, if you just suddenly wake up in the morning and go, right, I am going to run a marathon, the whole kind of idea of having to run that distance, if you've never run before, is overwhelming. It's essentially, it will be enough for you to quit before you even start it. So essentially what I do is, or what I would do, is break it down and say to someone, well, the first thing to do is to get your body moving. It's a lot easier to get someone just to do a walk than to get someone to do essentially a 20 mile or 15 mile or a 10K, or whatever, a race or whatever they've decided to do. It'll be very hard just to go, right, get up in the morning and run 10K. So what we do is we break it down into small steps. It allows that person to look at it in a lot easier way. It allows you to overcome things a lot easier, and it allows you to learn along the way again. So when I talked about the learning bit, it's because that is a vital part of any journey. If you can't learn, then that means you can't adapt, and if you can't adapt, you can't improve. And these are where these simple steps will come in handy. So I'm just going to say to you now, okay, you can try this or don't. I'm not here to say you must do it. I'm just saying give it a try. So the next time you've got yourself a goal in mind, or if you've got a goal in mind now, I want you to write it down. And then I want you then to write in small steps, certain stages up to that point of how you're going to overcome it. So for example, if we did want to use a marathon, where would your starting point be? Would it be a walk around the block? Or if you're a little bit more experienced than that, maybe you can run around the block. Would it be a 5K run down the park? Would the next one be a 10K run? And then would it be like a marathon? And this is what I'm just talking about, small steps. Once you bring these steps into play, you will find that you'll be able to use these in different parts of your life. And I have found these very effective in my life. How I overcome the challenge that I did. I wouldn't just suddenly be able to get onto a bike and to cycle for 48 hours. So what I had to do was break it down, do my training, but also have it in small stages so the actual overall event at the end wasn't too overpowering that it actually made me worry about the event itself. So give it a go. Let me know your thoughts. And this is what this subject was about. So essentially we are just breaking it down into nice small steps. Because at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying your journey, what's the point? So that's it. I hope in some way I've helped you just be able to achieve that goal just that little bit easier. So thank you very much. And until next time, speak to you soon.